Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of my story. So we ended with kind of a sad note, but don't worry, it gets better over time, I promise. So basically, I won the 8-week challenge. I had lost almost 40 pounds in 8 weeks. The email goes out to all the participants and all the staff that I had won. Kathy Anderson's name is at the top of the list, $1,000. I mean, I was dying. I ran through the building screaming. I leapt into a coworker's arms. I could not have been more happy, more excited, more proud of myself. It was awesome. It was surreal. And now the challenge was over. I was free. I was done. It was over. I could be done with this terrible diet I was on. And so my friends and I had planned all along to go out on the night after my final weigh-in. And for weeks we had been referencing it as Emancipation Day. So the last day of the challenge, for weeks, I had been calling Emancipation Day. I couldn't wait to be freed from the challenge and freed from this awful diet. That right there should give you a hint as to why I didn't keep the weight off. So Emancipation Day rolls around. I go out with all my friends, drinking, ordering fried food at the bar probably. For the next week, my roommate and I went to every restaurant and ordered every takeout that I had missed throughout the 8 weeks since I had cut out everything. It was glorious. I was uncomfortably full most of the time and feeling pretty sluggish and stuff like that, but I just didn't care. I was just so excited to eat food again, and I swore I would never look at another chicken breast. So for the next few weeks, I made some excuses as to why I couldn't work out with my trainer. I was sick, or I was busy at work, or I hurt my knee or shoulder or something. Every excuse in the book to avoid a workout with him, and I certainly wasn't doing any workouts on my own. So he would send me texts saying like, sweetie, come on, we gotta get back on point, and he was being very kind and loving. And so now, like I said, we're in mid-July. It's been about 3 months or so since the challenge ended, and he was like, girl, come on, we need to get in a workout. Come meet me in the trainer studio later. We're doing this. We're getting back on track. So I was like, okay. So I walk in the studio, and he basically just looks at me and points at the scale. And so I knew it wasn't going to be great. I hadn't really been keeping a super close eye on the scale because I knew I had gained weight. I knew I had gained some back. And so I took a deep breath and I got on the scale, and I was literally back where I started. That was the highest I ever weighed. I was never supposed to go back to that. I lost 40 pounds. Like, why did So if you haven't read the first blog post yet, it'll provide a little bit more context. I had been doing this yo-yo thing for over 10 years. I joined Weight Watchers for the first time in 2007. So I had lost 20 pounds and gained 22, lost 20 pounds and gained 23, lost 20 pounds, gained 24 for 10 years. So this time was supposed to be different. This 40 pounds was such a big deal, and I worked so hard. It was supposed to be different. And yeah, I couldn't figure out how I had done this again. How did I let this happen again? It was so devastating. Devastating is not even a good enough word. I cannot even describe the feeling that I had just looking at that number and knowing that I did that, you know? So I laid on the floor and I cried, and he let me. And after a little bit, he was like, all right, get your shit together. And I did. I absolutely did. That moment, as hard as it was, you know, not to compare my struggles to any other type of struggle, but you know, a lot of people with other types of struggles say they, you know, hit a rock bottom. And I'm not saying this is the worst my life could have ever possibly been, or that it's the absolute rock bottom. But for me, and for my weight and my body image and all of that, that was the lowest point. It was rock bottom for me. And while it was one of the hardest moments of my life, I am forever grateful for it, because in that moment when he looked at me laying on the floor crying in probably the fetal position and said, "All right, Anderson, get your shit together." That was the moment. That was the moment where everything started to change. That was the moment that I decided to change my entire life. It was the last time I would ever rebound that hard again. It was the last damn time I was ever going to feel completely out of control of my life and of my body. It was the last damn time I was ever going to feel the sheer pain and regret of having completely given up on myself. I was never going to do it again, ever, no matter what. And that is the start. I often say that my road to losing 100 pounds started with an 8-week challenge. And then I often give it a little twist by saying, and then I gained it all back. But really, that moment is what began to change everything. So even though the 8-week challenge went well and then threw me a curveball, that curveball was truly what changed everything. And now we are here, about to head into the final 60 days.